Welcome back, guys, to our first video for Diablo 4, because today we had the closed, not technically closed, you can get in, we'll say paid beta that opened up for Diablo 4, which will lead into next weekend's open beta that anybody can join in, and we had an experience today. It was rough. It was good. It was bad. We're going to talk about all of it here today and everything that we've experienced going through this beta and how it can hopefully be smoothed out going into next week and eventually going into the launch. There was no serious problems other than obviously some server problems, which if you weren't expecting that to be a thing, you're completely delusional. I'm not saying it's something that should happen, but I'm saying it is something that you should have anticipated and expected. That's just the way things are these days. Hopefully they do change, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. Anyways, what we're going to look at here today is just some cut-up footage from me playing the game. It doesn't go too far deep into it. There will be some spoilers. There will be some cutscenes that we do look at and things like that. So if you don't want any spoilers, I would recommend that you either skip over those parts or maybe this just isn't the video for you at this time. You can get into the beta still. It's not too late. All you have to do is pre-order the game. If you're not positive that you're going to be playing the game, definitely recommend you hold off on that. If you do know you're going to be playing the game regardless, then hey, pre-order the game, get into the beta, see if you feel it out, see if it's what you want, and hey, get in there with the rest of us. Anyways, let's take a look at what we found out in the game today. All right, guys, we are here, and we have our first Diablo 4 video of the weekend. So this is going to be our introduction into the closed beta or paid beta. I'm not sure how exactly they describe this type of thing. You have to have either pre-purchased the game or gotten in on some other sort of deal that they had, like the KFC multi-marketing deal that they did. If you buy a Double Down, you get access into the game. It was a weird deal, but hey, if it gets more people playing the game, I guess that's a good thing, right? Anyways, so we got in here today. We're gonna look at everything that I did today. Starting out here with the character creation. We started out with the barbarian, and overall, I think the models look amazing. Obviously, the first thing I did notice though was a mistake here, where they have the eye color. Obviously, the button indicator is a orange tan color, but it's labeled as dark brown. The eye color is dark brown. You can see in the skin tones, they obviously had no problem making a dark brown button. I'm not sure how that became to be. Even the medium brown looks, it's like a pale yellow color. I just don't understand. And then I found this yellow incandescent color, which is actually a white button. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on with that. It's not a big thing, obviously. It's just a little thing. It does not really matter. Overall, I think the character customization is pretty mid, though. You see here there are 11 hairstyles and 11 facial hairstyles. I think that's pretty middle of the pack in terms of character customization goes. In comparison to previous Diablo games, obviously it's amazing because we've never had any character customization before, not counting Diablo Immortal. That obviously we don't include that here. So it's better than what we've had in the past, but in terms of comparing it to other ARPGs and other games in a similar genre, it's just really middle of the pack type of thing. I did think that the hair models did look cool. I did find a problem with trying to color my hair. There's no separation between the beard and the actual hair color on your head. I do like to separate those myself, and that's just not something you can do here. Oh, hello. The cat would like to join us for this video. I did end up going with, I think, one of the gray, or I think it was a red hairstyle. Yeah, and it gave us a gray beard there. That was about the best I could get. I think they could have done a bit better. I don't think it's such a big problem to let people separate, choosing your hair color and your beard color separately. The makeup and the jewelry and the markings and all of that, it was pretty average also. I think they did look really good on the character models. I think that they were very well done in an art sense. I think the body markings, especially, were very, very good looking, much better than what we see in like World of Warcraft, for example. Very sad that these are probably going to be covered up by armor. Um, all the artist's hard work here. You can see here we scroll through some of these markings, and I think that they look extremely well done in terms of like a tattoo style on the characters. I think I cycle through a couple of the colors, and I end up on going personally with, I believe, the runes, which I thought was a really cool addition. It looks like you have all the runes scribbled all over your body, and one of the colors that you can choose over there is even scars. So it doesn't look like it's painted or tattooed on. It looks like they are scarred onto your body, which I thought was a really, really cool and unique addition to that marking system. Overall, I think there's a lot of work that could be done in this system. I think they could have put more effort into making this really, really unique, but I don't think that they particularly had to, considering that we haven't had any kind of customization before. Yeah, this is the rune system here. I thought this looked really, really cool. I was really surprised by this. Personally, this kind of goes along with not being able to separate the hair and the beard. I don't really care for face tattoos on my characters, right? So if I could have maybe just done the rune markings on the body and not the face, that would have been a better option for me. But it's the little things, right? It's the little things. You do have a hardcore option here. Generally, we are a hardcore player, but I don't think in the beta, I don't think that's really a thing that's worth doing, to be personally honest. I didn't need any of the guidance, and I don't think that was really worth going over. I included this cutscene here for a specific reason. We won't watch the whole cutscene. We can skip through it, but I did want to show one specific thing. And this was the first actual bug that I encountered in the game after I was able to get in. We had to get through some of this narration here, but what happens is your character model disappears. If we take a look here, you'll see at the end of the scene, boom, character model gone. You disappear off the horse before the scene ends. If you look here, right before the scene ends, boom, gone. And here again, gone. I think that this is a detail that was overlooked, and I'm not sure why. It just looks like something that nobody tested or did their due diligence to make sure was clean and smooth before releasing this version of the game. It's obviously an easy fix for them. It's obviously not something that's going to break the game or anything, make it unplayable. But what it does for me is like puts me in the frame of mind where I'm like, okay, this is foreshadowing for the quality of the rest of the game. If they can't get the very first cutscene of the game right, what hope do we have for the rest of the game? Maybe this is a one-off thing. Maybe it's not something that we're going to see through the rest of the game. We can only hope. We skip through the rest of this cutscene here. I just wanted to include that for the, to show off that bug there. Overall, the cutscene is really good. It is a cutscene that we've seen previously, though. It's nothing new. Taking a look here, you kill a couple of mobs, you get your first level up, and you get to choose your first skill. You do start out with the default attack, and for some reason, I don't know, this probably has something to do with it being mixed with console gamers and stuff like that. Your left click to, force move, interact, and skill. That's all on your left click. No separation of those things. So I think that is a weird thing for them to do. I don't know why all three of those things need to be on the same button. It just doesn't make sense to me. The skill tree to me is not that bad. I know that's a hot take, and a lot of people are going to disagree with that. A lot of people are going to say that it is, it's very barren. It's plain. It's nothing innovative. But you know what? And I used to think that same way. But you know what? What I realized, let's go back on that a little bit and look at this. Diablo has never been a game that has had very intricate skill tree. So I don't know why we expect that from them from Diablo 4. Now, in terms of comparing them to other ARPGs, sure, you can definitely, you can definitely hold them accountable for that, as a lot of other games have significantly more in-depth skill trees. But when you're just comparing it to other Diablo games, I don't see why you would expect them to have in-depth skill trees. Diablo 1, obviously, there's nothing to really talk about there in terms of skills. Diablo 2, all you had was you had a lot of skills on each character, right? Just in each character's tree, you had, what, 15 or so skills that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. But you never used all of them, right? If you're playing a cold sorceress, you're using either Blizzard or Frozen Orb, and maybe you cast some frost bolts, but not very often. You're going to put points into Frostbolt, you're going to put points into Cold Mastery, but you're not going to use Frostbolt. You're just using it. It's just a synergy for your other skills. And Cold Mastery is just a passive thing that's happening by itself. There's nothing intricate happening there. Diablo 3, you just have your skills, and then you have 5 augments, right? You have your runes that they use to augment the way that skill works. And that's about as intricate as it gets for the Diablo series. And this here is not too far off from that. You see, you have your main abilities that you choose from, and then it branches off a little bit, and you have ways to change. Thought I had to sneeze there. You have ways to change the way that that skill works. Nothing crazy, right? So, hey, normally, maybe I'm just getting old and I don't care as much anymore or something. I'm not sure, but I have lowered my expectations on what I expect there, and it actually turned out to be exactly what I expected the skill tree to be for a Diablo game. Do I wish somewhere deep down inside that they would have this closer to last epoch type of skill tree where you have your ability and then you have a bunch of sprawling different things you can change it to? Sure, I do wish that, but my expectation was not that. Now, this is the first dungeon that you get sent to, and when you accept a quest in the town, it's actually very reminiscent of when you get sent to the Den of Evil by Akara in Diablo 2. And actually, when I was given the quest, the voice lines that you exchange between you and the NPC, it instantly brought me back to that first time that I ever was asked to go to the Den of Evil in Diablo 2, and that was really good. That tells me that they did a very good job. They did their homework. They went back and they said, how can we capture this feeling, right? This is the very first thing you ever get asked to do in Diablo 2 after you make your character. How can we capture that nostalgia feeling? And I feel like they did a very good job at that. And this quest is pretty much the same. You're going to, instead of a den, you're going to these ruins. And you don't specifically have to clear out every enemy like you do in the Den of Evil, but you have to, clear out what you can clear out, get to the end, fight a boss, and and then you go back and they say thank you for saving the town type of thing, right? We're going to skip ahead here a little bit. It's just me fighting these mobs. I will say that the combat does feel very good. It's snappy. The movement's pretty good. I do really enjoy that there is a dodge button, right? You can see spacebar is dodge. That is something that they actually had in Wolcen. Wolcen, the failed ARPG. And that was actually something I really liked about Wolcen. That's something that I've said many times that I wish more ARPGs would include, is a dodge button. I don't want the ability to jump or anything like that, but I do think dodging is should become like a core mechanic in an ARPG. Not using a dodge ability like in Path of Exile, with the dash or flame dash or ice blink or something like that, but just a neutral, everybody has it naturally, short dodge on a decent cooldown. We clear out all the mobs here. There's just a bunch of Fallen in here, right? They wanted to be really reminiscent of the Den of Evil. There's a bunch of Fallen in here. No Gargantuans, no zombies, no corpse fire or anything like that. But there is a boss at the end here, and we will get to see him here today. I was actually surprised by the size of the first dungeon. When I came into here, I thought it was actually going to be maybe, you know, 1 or 2 rooms, just like a tutorial type of thing. But we found a lot of unique monsters in here, like this fiery fallen here, who had something akin to maybe the mortar ability in Diablo 3, which I thought was pretty unique to see this early in the game. I was really only expecting to see the very most basic enemies in here. There's a little exploring. This is my first time through here, right? So I want to make sure I checked every nook and cranny, make sure I was seeing everything that I could see. Looking for bugs, you know, not maliciously looking for bugs, but just making sure that we were, you know, interacting with everything so that we could report a bug if we did find it. I believe this leads up into the boss room here, so we'll be able to see the boss fight. We have a decapitated priest, and if we click on him, I think you know what's going to happen. It's no surprise that once you click on him, you get a big baddie. I dodge his abilities here a little bit because I want to try to get a feel for the bite. I just don't want to, you know, zerg him down. I want to see what his abilities are. I want to see, you know, how he interacts. I want to see how his abilities hurt, you know, what the mechanics are and stuff like that. One thing I will point out here is you can see where I'm hitting the enemies and it says immune. They're not actually immune. That is a bug. So what happened was in the options, there's an option to turn off damage numbers. So what it says it'll do is it'll only show you like special damage numbers, which I'm assuming is supposed to be for like when you get a crit or something. So it won't show every hit, but it'll show crits and stuff like that. That's my guess. Well, what happens when you have a bleed ability is instead of it showing the bleed damage, it actually just shows that they're immune. Even though they're not, they take damage. They do tick down from the bleed damage. Every time it says immune, they're taking a tick of damage. But for some reason, it just says immune instead. When I mentioned earlier about foreshadowing towards game quality later on, this is the kind of thing I was talking about. If this wasn't tested beforehand, what are we, you know, what should our expectations be for later on down the road? This is such a little thing. And it's hard to believe that nobody in their testing before putting out this beta has encountered this. Or maybe they did and they reported it and they just, the QA reported it and, you know, the people who make the decisions decided it wasn't worth fixing. I don't know. That seems probably worse than them not finding it. Unsure. You see here, the boss is pretty spongy. There's nothing special going on. His mechanics aren't hard to dodge. He just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. I do think he has too much health. Granted, I did choose the option that makes the enemies have more damage and more health, but I don't think the fight is intricate enough for how long the fight lasted, I should say. We get some blue items, which is nice. There are going to be some upgrades. You'll see we have green arrow up. This is my biggest problem with the game here, guys, and I'm going to harp on this every single time. The itemization is dog shit. It is utterly dog shit, guys. You have a game in your that you made called Diablo 2, Blizzard. You made Diablo 2. I know it's a different team. I know it's not the same Blizzard. It'll never be the same Blizzard. But you have that game under your wing. It's heralded for having the best itemization of any ARPG ever. And you've reduced that down to attack power and armor and life with some stats on items that you really just don't care about because the green number tells you that the other item is better regardless of what else is written on there. I don't think that's good. I don't know if it's because you think your players are stupid. Maybe Blizzard thinks the players are stupid. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, they do think the players are stupid. Let's be honest. They straight up said in the Q&A that they added elemental resistances into armor because they didn't think players could figure out how to manage the resistances to not die in boss fights. They said that out loud in the Q&A. So they do think the players are stupid. I know that we'll never get Diablo 2 itemization back. I understand that. But I do hope that we can get something better than what we see in Diablo 3 and here in Diablo 4 now. Because this Diablo 4 system is essentially just Diablo 3 on repeat. It's Diablo 3.5. The itemization it could just be an expansion to Diablo 3. That's it. I included in this little side quest here because I thought it was actually a really cool thing. This is just you've seen these in Diablo 3 all the time, right? But this one just really felt unique, and I think it was because of what happened at the end of this quest. So you find this caravan, it's turned over, there's a lady stuck inside, she says, please help me. The monsters are attacking the caravan. You have your primary mission, which is to survive the onslaught of enemy attacks. And then you have a secondary mission, which is to keep her alive because the mobs will attack the caravan. You'll see here we are also playing on the rogue. I switched over to the rogue once because I wanted to try out different characters. I will say that the rogue felt significantly more powerful than the barbarian did. It could just be a difference in skills. Maybe I chose a bad skill for the barbarian. I chose the OP skill for the rogue unintentionally. But the style felt better. And I should say I'm not a barb player, right? I'm not the big hulking strong guy type of player. If I do want to play like a strength-based character, it's normally like a paladin, and usually has like magic mixed in. I'm normally more on like the rogue side. I play a demon hunter in World of Warcraft. I usually play demon hunter also in Diablo 3. I loved playing assassin in Diablo 2. So, hey, what can I say? This was the part that got me with this quest, though, is I finished the quest, and I thought here that the wife or whoever's crawling out from the caravan had died at first. Turns out she crawls out, and then I thought she was going to say something to me, which she doesn't. And then it took me by surprise. It turns out what actually happens here is she's crawling over to her husband, I'm assuming that is on the ground, and he's dead. And she mourns over his dead body. That actually caught me by surprise. It was actually very meaningful, right? It like you could almost feel the emotion in it there, which I didn't expect. I didn't expect it at all. I thought that this was just going to be like some meaningless quest because that's what most of them were in Diablo 3, right? But if you look here, I mean, they just added that little bit of feeling in there. It's not much. It's not much at all, but it's just a little thing. It's just a little thing that they included in with this little side quest that kind of gives you a connection and makes you feel like, wow, this world is going to shit, man. These demons just attacked this caravan, killed her husband. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She just lost everything. Luckily, you were able to save her life, but who knows about anybody else? This is just me exploring the first city that you come across here. I'm just visiting the vendors, seeing what they offer and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. Nothing really happens here other than seeing what the blacksmith does and stuff like that. What we can do here is talk about my overall opinion of the beta on day one. First off, the server issues, absolute dog shit. There's no reason for that, right? There's no reason to have these server issues. It all comes down to literal just greed and lack of due diligence. You know how many people are going to be playing the game. You know how many people have it downloaded. You have the statistics. Like, there's no excuse other than greed and just not doing what you have to do to have the server capacity and the coding or whatever back-end stuff it is that you have to take care of to make sure that that doesn't happen. It can't happen. It can't happen on every single game launch, every single time without fail. And we just keep giving a pass every single time. Not just Blizzard, every gaming company. Eventually, they just have to be held accountable for this thing, right? And what do? Not play the game? I mean, that's obviously not going to happen. So the thing is, they get the free pass every time. And I don't know how it ever changes. It probably doesn't. But we can just complain about it, I guess. They need to do better, right? People, this isn't their problem. This is the people's problem, right? People request off work, or they, spend the day at home getting ready, or even in the world of content creation now, right? You have streamers who are dedicating their time to playing your game, sitting there at a login screen for 6 hours, can't get into the game. It's not okay, right? For anybody. Not the players, not the streamers, not the and I know that there's plenty of people that are extremely hard at work, extremely frustrated at Blizzard, trying to get the problems fixed, right? It's not their fault. The people who are actively working and trying to get the things going, it's not their fault. It's the people at the top, right? It's their fault. What can you do? Overall, the game felt very good. Overall, I think the beta was a success once you get in and you can start playing it. The itemization is bad, obviously. Attack power, defense power, health. There's nothing we can do to change that now, right? They already swindled their way out of the first thing, right? Where it was just attack and defense before, right? And now they just changed it to, they said, okay, guys, we got rid of attack and defense. Now we have attack power and defense power, and it's a totally new and innovative system, guys. We heard you, and we're going to do better. Here's your attack power and armor. Totally different than attack and defense. You can't fool us. We know. But there's nothing we can do about it, right? We're stuck with this system. It's what we got. I guess the good thing is most people will be accustomed to it because it's how Diablo 3 worked. So it kind of just transitioning from one to the next. I do think that the overall gameplay of the beta was good. The combat feels very good. The cutscenes look very good. The characters move very well. It's snappy, responsive gameplay. The attacks feel like they hit. The music is very good. All of it, the whole shebang. I can't complain about any of that stuff. And I can't wait to get in and play some more tomorrow. It's going to be a great thing, guys. Hey, hopefully this video has helped you decide whether it is that you want to pre-order this game or you don't want to pre-order this game. Hopefully that we can keep getting this information out here from tons of other content creators to figure out, is this the game for you, so you don't waste money pre-ordering a purchase, for a game that you're not going to like. Hopefully we can get some honest reviews out here of the game, which is what I'm trying to do. We will have more content coming here into the future, guys. If you like the content, remember to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. We do play a lot of ARPGs and MMORPGs. Play a lot of World of Warcraft and Path of Exile, Last Epoch, stuff like that. So if that's your kind of content, come on back. We'll have more of it for you. If there's anything you think I left out here that I should cover or things that I missed, hey, let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to get it taken care of. Until then, adios, muchachos.